HRT 210 ServSafe exam CH1 exam questions. Which is an obstacle to food safety? Staff language differences. People with compromised immune systems include transplant recipients, people with AIDS. When raw meat juices drip onto cooked or ready-to-eat food, it can make food unsafe. In what way? Cross-contamination. The 5 most common food handling mistakes include purchasing food from unsafe sources, failing to cook food correctly, holding food at incorrect temperatures, using contaminated equipment, and ________________________ Practicing poor personal hygiene. A food handler scratches an open wound and then continues to work. Poor personal hygiene. A food handler comes to work ill, despite knowing that's not proper practice. Poor personal hygiene. Chemical contaminants that cause foodborne illness to occur include polishes and cleaners. To keep food safe, which of the following are measures that should be focused on? Preventing cross-contamination, cleaning and sanitizing. Raw chicken is stored above salad and drips into the container. Cross-contamination. Cross-contamination can cause a foodborne illness in which of the following ways? A food handler touches contaminated food and then touches ready-to-eat food. Contaminated ingredients are added to food that receives no further cooking. Ready-to-eat food touches contaminated surfaces. A food handler uses a wet towel to wipe prep surfaces. Pour, clean and sanitize. Staff should be trained only when hired, and only on general food safety knowledge. False. A food handler prepares hamburgers with raw meat and then makes a deli sandwich without changing gloves. Cross-contamination. Which food items need time and temperature control for safety? Milk. A food handler fails to wash hands correctly after using the restroom. Poor personal hygiene. Which is a ready-to-eat food? Washed carrots. Victims of foodborne illnesses may experience __________________________________________________________ long-term disabilities. What is an example of time-temperature abuse? Food is not reheated to a high enough temperature to kill pathogens. Which type of contaminant is responsible for the majority of foodborne illnesses? Biological. The 5 most common causes of foodborne illness include failing to cook food correctly, practicing poor personal hygiene. The 5 most common food handling mistakes include purchasing food from unsafe sources, failing to cook food correctly, holding food at incorrect temperatures, using contaminated equipment, and practicing poor personal hygiene. Why are elderly people at high risk for foodborne illness? Immune systems weaken with age. What is considered a challenge to an operation's food safety? Employees juggling time pressures with safety issues. Challenges to food safety in an operation include pathogens, language education. A foodborne illness is considered an outbreak when 2 or more people have the same symptoms of illness after eating the same food, and an outbreak is confirmed by a laboratory. Populations at high risk for foodborne illness include preschool-age children. According to experts, how much does foodborne illness usually cost an operation? Thousands of dollars. Deli meats touch raw meat preparation tables. Cross-contamination. Why are transplant recipients at high risk for foodborne illness? They have compromised immune systems. Only elderly people, and not preschool-age children, are at a higher risk of getting a foodborne illness. False. A cleaning towel is left out next to the sanitizer bucket. Pour clean and sanitize. Contaminated ingredients are added to food that receives no further cooking. Cross-contamination. What is an example of a physical contaminant? Toothpicks. Why is TCS food likely to become unsafe? Pathogens grow well in it. TCS food is food that requires time and temperature control for safety. A food handler coughs or sneezes on food. Poor personal hygiene. What type of contaminant is the greatest threat to food safety? Biological. Raw chicken breasts are left out at room temperature on a prep table. What is the risk that could cause a foodborne illness? Time temperature abuse. A foodborne illness is considered an outbreak when two or more people have the same symptoms of illness after eating the same food. Which regulatory authority inspects all food except meat, poultry, and eggs? FDA. A server cleans a dining table with a wiping cloth and then puts the cloth in an apron pocket. What is the risk that could cause a foodborne illness? Poor cleaning and sanitizing. Potato salad is left out of refrigeration for 7 hours. Time temperature abuse. Ready-to-eat food includes deli meat, but not spices and seasonings. False. A worker uses the same side towel during an entire shift to wipe tables and utensils. Cross-contamination. Which is a ready-to-eat food? Washed carrots. Contaminants are the greatest threat to food safety. Biological. What food item is considered a ready-to-eat food? Bread. Victims of foodborne illnesses may experience death, medical costs, long-term disability, lost work. An employee coming to work sick is an example of poor personal hygiene, which is an example of how food can become unsafe. Prep tables are wiped down with a side towel between uses. What is the purpose of the FDA Food Code? Recommends food safety regulations. A food handler uses the same tongs to pick up raw pork chops and hot dogs. Cross-contamination. To support food safety, What is an operations manager responsible for monitoring? Staff handwashing practices. Sanitizer solution gets diluted after continuous use and is left unchecked. Pour, clean and sanitize. Teaching correct food safety rules is sometimes complicated by underscore 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 underscore. Staff with varying levels of education. Staff should be trained on food safety when they are first hired. Why are preschool-age children at a higher risk for foodborne illnesses? They have not built up strong immune systems. Pathogens grow well in lobster tofu. What is an important measure for preventing foodborne illness? Controlling time and temperature. Raw chicken is served undercooked. Time temperature abuse. The FDA only inspects meat, poultry, and eggs, regulates food transported across national lines, and regulates food service only for retail food stores. False. Which is a type of physical contaminant? Staples. Chili is not cooled quickly enough before storage. Time temperature abuse. Which is a TCS food? Sprouts. The 5 common mistakes that can lead to foodborne illness are failing to cook food adequately, holding food at incorrect temperatures, using contaminated equipment, practicing poor personal hygiene, and purchasing food from unsafe sources. Which type of food carries the highest risk of causing a foodborne illness? Milk and dairy products.